The Big Bang Theory may be saved by young Sheldon's most recent plot hole. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like. A caution. Episode 13 of Young Sheldon's 6th season contains spoilers. Although the prequel is not new, the most recent plot hole in Young Sheldon Season 6 may save it from the Big Bang Theory. Since its inception as supplemental viewing for its main series, TV's top comedy has advanced significantly. Instead of being a traditional sitcom like The Big Bang Theory, it has evolved into a family comedy. Regretfully, as it departs from the flagship program, it also raises fresh continuity problems that could completely upend the nerd-centric sitcom's established canon. The most recent plot hole in Young Sheldon Season 6 may be the key to ultimately escaping the timeline of the Big Bang Theory. In Season 6 of Young Sheldon, the Coopers have been quite active. Mary and George help the complex couple as Mandy and Georgie prepare for the birth of their daughter. In addition to having a flourishing business, Mima has reignited her romance with Dale. Sheldon is still working on starting his grant database project in the interim. In the midst of all of that, Paige makes a reappearance in a frat party, a sleepover, and the mother of all blisters, which leads to an apparently harmless remark from adult Sheldon's narration, but in reality opens a new plot hole in the Big Bang Theory. Adult Sheldon recalled a story regarding his and Amy's son Leonard Cooper's high school graduation in Young Sheldon Season 4. This implied that Sheldon as an adult would be in his early 50s at the very least, 10 years after the events of the Big Bang Theory finale. He should not be older than 43, though, given he disclosed in Young Sheldon Season 6 that it had only been 30 years since Missy persuaded him to take care of Paige. Naturally, this has raised some questions, but fortunately, there is a simple solution that also allows the prequel avoid a few of the tragedies that have been created by the Big Bang Theory for the time being. CBS can just state that adult Sheldon's narration isn't in chronological order to fix this temporal problem. This suggests that he might be narrating these early tales out of chronological sequence, bringing them up whenever a certain memory triggers him. Therefore, Sheldon might have been 10 years younger when he recounted his experience of allowing an inebriated Paige to sleep in his dorm room, even though he could have been in his 50s when he related the story of Leonard Cooper's graduation. Over the years, young Sheldon has produced innumerable TBT story holes. While some were done to emphasize the prequel's narrative, others might have been simply avoided. But this most recent discrepancy would be advantageous since it might address young Sheldon's storytelling pacing problem. As the family sitcom goes on, it also comes dangerously close to two major tragedies that permanently alter Sheldon's and his family's lives. First of all, the young genius was 13 when George's cheating scandal occurred. This was followed within a year by his death. Since young Sheldon is now set in 1993, according to the timeline, the Cooper patriarch's infidelity plot should develop over the course of the upcoming months. However, if adult Sheldon's narration is out of sequence, it indicates that young Sheldon can go back and forth in time with its weekly storylines, so prolonging the duration of the show. Additionally, it might postpone George's unavoidable demise in Young Sheldon, enabling CBS to profit even more from its rising appeal. Because the kid actors in Young Sheldon are becoming older more quickly than their characters, CBS can employ this tactic, but only to a limited degree. In the 1993 set Young Sheldon Season 6, Sheldon is just 13 years old, while Ian Armitage is approaching his 15th birthday. The actor's physical development over the past few years, together with a shift in his vocal tone, is a reflection of his actual age. Therefore, even though a non-chronological narration from adult Sheldon is possible, young Sheldon cannot permanently postpone George's infidelity and demise. However, it could purchase a prequel to The Big Bang Theory for a while, which is still preferable to nothing. Young Sheldon's newest plot hole could save it from Big Bang Theory. The world of sitcoms is no stranger to plot holes. After all, no show is perfect, and sometimes the best storylines come from unexpected places. However, what if we told you that a recent plot hole in Young Sheldon might actually be the one thing that saves it from fading into obscurity? Yes, you read that right. A show that serves as the prequel to the massive Big Bang Theory franchise could be revived, not in spite of its
Before we
flaws,
dive into
but
how
because a plot hole could be the key to Young Sheldon's resurgence. Let's look at what's happening in the Big Bang Theory universe. Fans have watched Sheldon Cooper grow into the eccentric, genius physicist we know and love in the Big Bang Theory. But with the prequel series, Young Sheldon, audiences were given a new way of understanding Sheldon's childhood and the formative experiences that made him the character fans adore. The series gave viewers a chance to see Sheldon's life from a different angle, but with its recent shift in direction, some viewers are questioning whether it has strayed too far from its roots. While Young Sheldon has enjoyed decent ratings, it has faced increasing scrutiny as time has passed. Critics have argued that the show is becoming less focused on Sheldon's development and more on the quirky antics of the other characters in his life. The child genius is still the focal point, but some fans feel like the charm of Young Sheldon is slipping away. However, all hope may not be lost, because the very thing that some see as a flaw might be the show's saving grace. For those who haven't noticed, there's a plot hole in Young Sheldon that's been quietly growing over time. While many plot inconsistencies are often the result of rushed writing or continuity errors, this particular gap in the storyline might just be the twist the show needs. It all has to do with Sheldon's relationship with his family, specifically his older brother George Cooper Jr. In the early seasons of Young Sheldon, George Jr. is presented as a classic older sibling. He's often portrayed as tough on Sheldon, while also being protective in his own way. However, in later seasons, his character is given more depth, and Sheldon begins to show more empathy toward him. There's one glaring problem, though, if you compare the evolution of George Jr.'s character with the way he's portrayed in The Big Bang Theory. There's a discrepancy that can't be ignored. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon describes his brother George Jr. in a much different light. The bad apple of the family, George Jr. had a contentious relationship with Sheldon, even leading to a strained bond. So where did this shift in characterization come from? And why does it matter? As Young Sheldon dives deeper into the storylines of its supporting characters, especially George Jr., viewers are starting to notice an evolution in his arc that feels out of place in the world of The Big Bang Theory. While this could easily be written off as a case of the writers not paying attention, there's a much bigger possibility at play here, a plot hole that's actually part of a larger mystery. Consider this. What if the shift in George Jr.'s personality is not a mistake, but a deliberate attempt to tell a larger story that connects both shows in a more meaningful way? Imagine that George Jr.'s change in demeanor is not just the result of Sheldon's influence, but the consequence of an event in his life that hasn't been revealed yet, one that could ultimately lead to the rift between him and Sheldon we see in The Big Bang Theory. This could explain the character shift and provide the emotional payoff needed to tie Young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory together in a more satisfying way. In fact, this plot hole could be the key to unlocking new opportunities for Young Sheldon. Perhaps the show will introduce an event that changes George Jr. and eventually creates the tension that will make Sheldon's relationship with him more complicated. The growing tension between Sheldon and George Jr. could be the catalyst that drives both characters toward the different paths we saw in The Big Bang Theory. With this potential plot hole, fans have started to come up with their own theories about what might be in store for Sheldon and George Jr. Is it possible that the tension between them will culminate in a family tragedy? Could George Jr. suffer a life-altering event that leads him to become the more distant, difficult older brother Sheldon recalls? What if Sheldon's memories of his brother are colored by this unresolved conflict, which then feeds into the persona we see in the Big Bang Theory? The plot hole becomes a chance for the writers to craft a compelling narrative that explains the differences in Sheldon's memories of his family, specifically George Jr., and their complicated relationship. If done right, this twist could offer fans the emotional depth and connection they've been waiting for, and create a more cohesive bridge between young Sheldon and the Big Bang Theory. While young Sheldon has been steadily building its way to a conclusion, it's not entirely clear whether it's ready to wrap up just yet. If the writers can capitalize on this potential plot hole, it could spark a renewed interest in the show, as viewers may become excited to see how the series will end. Will Sheldon finally come to terms with his family's history? And will he reconcile his past with the version of himself seen in the Big Bang Theory? Will George Jr.'s fate be sealed in a way that adds new layers to his character, making the show's conclusion more impactful? While young Sheldon might not have been able to completely escape the shadow of the Big Bang Theory, the plot hole involving George Jr. could help the show take a new direction that makes it feel fresh again. A bold and well-executed storyline could provide the show with the creative spark it needs to finish strong. It's clear that fans are still invested in the characters of young Sheldon, and if the show can deliver on this new mystery, it might just prove that sometimes a plot hole isn't the end. It's the beginning of something much bigger. In the end, a plot hole doesn't have to be a deal-breaker. Instead, it can be the perfect vehicle for reinvention, opening doors for new opportunities in storytelling. If young Sheldon can successfully use this plot inconsistency as a means to further explore Sheldon's past and the dynamic with his family, it may just find the key to finishing its run in a way that ties back to the beloved Big Bang Theory while offering something entirely new. As we wait to see where the show goes next, one thing is clear. Young Sheldon's newest plot hole could be the saving grace it needs to take its place in TV history, one that leaves both fans and critics talking for years to come. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.